What's up everybody, Arrg the Pirate here, and today I got to play Durango, and I'm going to give my first impressions. So I decided to try something new. For all the new heroes that I'm going to be testing out, I'm going to test out their starter decks with them. And to be quite honest, Durango's starter deck is really not that bad. It's a lifesteal based deck, so you have a pretty solid in-game. Although your begin game, you really only have the choice between, a 1-point card and a 3-point card. You don't really have a whole lot of early options, and then your mid-game kind of opens up a little bit, and then your end-game is fairly strong. Of course, you don't have, you're not capable of putting, 39 points on or anything like that, but you do have a fairly strong in-game. And with that buff or nerf or change to Vampiric Blade, you can now, have a very strong in-game with Shatter Golem, Vampiric Blade, and the Guard Piercer, which is what the final build for this starter deck is, and it feels very strong. So if you don't have a deck built for Durango, you can pick up that starter deck, and it is a solid deck, so definitely try that out. Alright, next let's go over his abilities. Pistol Shot is Durango's basic attack, and it feels very solid. It's not quite as impactful as that Revenant, cannon, but it feels good, it sounds good, and I'm happy with it. Old Rusty is Durango's boomerang. Durango throws out a long-range boomerang that returns to him once it hits the world or travels 1,800 units. So if you throw it at the ground or a wall, it'll just come right back. The boomerang does 47.84, 77, 106, and 135 ability damage. There's a couple of points in there, but I'm skipping those. Ability damage applies a 175 movement speed slow for 1.5 seconds. And this is absolutely incredible. I've used this so many times to get away from things that were otherwise fairly dangerous. Next we have Gag Grenade. Gag Grenade is, simply a grenade. Durango tosses a tear gas grenade that creates a 375, 425, 475, and 525 unit area of silence for 3 seconds. So you silence and do a bit of damage. It's a great ability. I did try to use it on a Wukong, and it does not do anything for those clones, so unfortunately you can't shut Wukong down with that. Next we have Rad Rounds. Rad Rounds, Durango loads 3, 4, 5, 7 uranium bullets that irradiate any target hit for 2 seconds. Each time the target is hit, a stack is added to the duration is reset. After 10 seconds, or 3, 4, 5, and 6 bullets, basically all your bullets, the target takes 169, 237, 313, and 392 basic damage for the 3, 4, 5, and 6 stacks of radiation, and partial basic damage for each stack less. So basically it's almost like a reverse or a delayed dot damage. You hit somebody and 10 seconds later they explode for damage. So instead of, slowly ticking, they boom, take a big significant damage. I don't know if this works with multi-shot. I did have multi-shot on whenever I tried to use it, but I did not feel near the effect from this. Might be just, hey, I can't hit anything, but I did not feel that these Rad Rounds were as powerful as I wish they were. Lastly, his ultimate shrapnel cannon. Durango fires a blast of shrapnel from his bazooka that deals 142, 213, and 283 ability damage, and a 15, 30, and 45 basic armor shred to anyone it hits for 8 seconds. The blast will knock Durango back in the direction opposite of where he's aiming, and it can actually blast enemies, forward a little bit. I actually make a great play with this where I used it to catch up to somebody. It is on a fairly short cooldown. I believe it's about 30 seconds at, you know, rank 3. So you can use this quite a bit. Alright, well, let's get into the match. Now, I was playing with a team that, you know, we had a Richter that thought he knew how to play the game the best, and he ended up not helping at all, which is actually great in my opinion, because I'm really able to see if I can solo lane, which I do end up doing for most of this match. Now, I am being very successful with my last hits as Durango, much more so than the other carries. I don't know if that's just because I'm more comfortable with him. You know, I do have Pull of the Week on, which I don't always play with. So I've been doing a very solid job of getting these last hits, and that's very, very helpful. And, you know, we're making some pretty good progress, but I am going against a Wukong, and I do get him down a little bit. If I would have actually had a support that was willing to help me, I believe we would have got this Wukong down much easier. But like I said, you know, there's been a lot of salt in Paragon the last, you know, week or you know, 3 weeks, I guess. And it's very hard to get, you know, just teammates that actually want to enjoy and have fun and play the game. But what can you do? If you see there, I did use my gag grenade, and it did nothing to the clone, so that might keep him from using Staff of Legend and things like that. But I would definitely say that the gag grenade is almost useless on Wukong, other than, you know, getting your little bit of damage and, you know, maybe keeping him from escaping if you're actually going in on him. You know, 3 seconds is a long time for a Wukong not to be able to escape, so that might open up opportunities to, you know, actually get that kill on him. Now, as for my first impressions, I have not been playing just a ton of carry. I feel confident with Wukong. I actually have not. I really wanted to play safe lane Seraph so far, and I have not been able to yet. I've never really liked safe lane Seraph, so I just wanted to try it out and see if it was a decent choice, but I have not got there yet. I've played a little Twin Blast, and I'm just underwhelmed with Twin Blast, and I've played Murdoch, which I'm, you know, if you watch my video, I like Murdoch. Murdoch is, you know, probably my new favorite carry. I did play a match with Sparrow and was just, I do not like Sparrow, so, you know, I'm coming from a place where I really only like one carry, and Drongo blows me away. He is awesome. He's really fun to play. I like his kit. You know, one thing, he's got a lot of utility, which we haven't really seen in a carry. Grim does have, you know, a little bit of utility with his displacement bomb and his slow and his shield, but, you know, I kind of feel there's a give and take with him. But Durango's got a silence, he's got a slow, he's got this blast back or a blast forward. You know, his kit is really, really cool, and then he's got this, hey, I feel like doing more damage all of a sudden, you know, load some extra special bullets. I'm really liking his kit. I don't know, I think right now, of course, we're only going to see Durango for the next few weeks anyways, but he feels like the most solid ADC in Paragon version since version 42 came out, and I've played with him one game. Now, he does suffer the same downfall as all other carries. He's fairly weak, and he does not have very good damage in the beginning. Of course, I would say with his kit, he's got more damage than most, but, you know, it's still, he's not a Chimera. Now, I have done a decent job of staying in this lane solo against a Wukong, which, you know, Wukong got hit pretty hard, but he really got hit hard in the survivability aspect. You know, sure, he's got a little less damage, but you can see we're level 7 and 8, and he's still just absolutely melting my minions. It doesn't really feel that he got just a crazy amount of nerf, you know, as of yet, but, you know, and even in the end game, he's able to have an impact. So I don't think they broke Wukong, which what I was concerned about. I think they did definitely put him in the right direction. You know, he's more on a level playing field than he used to be. He can't just go solo everything in game. And I was able, we were able to put a good amount of damage on him. If you see here, I throw my gag grenade, throw my boomerang, so not only can he not use his staff to catch up to me, but he is slowed. I was going to kind of head back to my tower, and then I saw him running around, so I go through that fog wall, and now I typically do that. Like, I'll run through the fog wall, then when he runs through, I slip right past him, and I'm able to get to my tower. All he can do is push me even closer to my tower at that point, which was kind of what I was hoping for. Now, I am getting fairly low, so I need to keep my distance, try to get this last little bit of farm, and hopefully my support will show up and actually, you know, maintain this lane for a little bit. And I do have my ultimate, which I have not used it yet, but you will see, I promise you, I do an awesome play with it, and, you know, I feel pretty good about it. Here at 13 minutes in, the salt really starts flying with Richter, and, you know, I'm not the type of person that can just sit back and let someone be salty, so I really just have to end up muting him and just, hey, I'm gonna do my own thing. I dive for this tower, I end up going down, but hey, at least I got the tower. Maybe that'll open my farm up, and we'll move on from here. Now, once I spawn back in, I had to come over to this off lane. You know, I'm not exactly sure what's going on in the off lane, but this match, we've had just a ton of deaths and things like that, but you know, I'm not really complaining. I want to really test out this hero, and going against the different range of heroes is great. Trying it out against an offlaner was enjoyable. You know, doing it in a solo safe lane was, you know, a great way to really test him out. So, to be quite honest, I couldn't ask for a better first impressions gameplay. Now, our tier 1 safe lane tower is about to fall since I had to go protect that other tower, and that's quite alright. Like I said earlier, Richter hasn't really shown a presence in the safe lane as the support, and I'm really just hoping this will open up my farm. Now I'll have the ability to farm from my tier 1 to my tier 2, or to their tier 2. And this is just great. You know, I'm at 93 creep score. I'm 1-1, so I'm not doing horrible with farm. I haven't had a whole lot of team presence, but, you know, that's okay. I need to farm this lane, especially since we really don't have a support here to help me out. Now, I'm going to leave this in and just kind of show you, you can mute people. This is really how to do it on the PlayStation. I'm sure the computer or the PC is almost the same, but you pull out the little menu, you go to this mute player button and click on your mute player, and that's really it. It's very, very simple, and you know, it sucks when someone's so toxic that you have to mute them, but it happens. And, you know, we ended up having a death there that our Richter, you know, he's so underfed since he's just kind of been running around not doing anything that he can't frontline. You know, whenever he tried to go frontline, we try to help him get slaughtered because, yeah, you know, he dies within seconds. But, hey, no big deal. Like I said, this is really kind of a test to see what I can do. And having a hero that's ruining the game is almost a good thing. But we are able to make a little more progress. We're 2-1, which isn't the worst thing, and now that I've muted the toxic player, that kind of relieves that stress that was building up, so that's much easier, and we'll be able to really see the progress we can make. Now, I see we have a massive team rotation in mid, and instead of going to mid, I'm going to just go ahead and down this tower. You know, I don't know, it might have been better to head over to mid, but I'm thinking if my team is under our tower, we should be able to, you know, survive that. There's no reason we should overextend and, you know, get a lot of deaths out of that. Now I'm able to mute Wukong. I used my shrapnel cannon to, you know, kind of blast myself back, and then I slow him with my boomerang. This is really letting, you know, allowing me to escape. Now, Richter did show up, and he was able to scare Wukong off, so that's great. You know, being this low on mana, I didn't have a whole lot more that I could do to escape. Now, I end up going head-to-head with this Durango, and, you know, I've got a decent minion wave, but I'm going to try to just get back. Now, I load my shrapnel rounds or my ion rounds, and I'm able to make very short work of him. But Murdoch was there, and he's able to take me out. I was really hoping to get around that wall, but I didn't quite get there, and he ended up taking me out. Now, their enemy team has been just putting a ton of pressure in mid lane, and this has really allowed me to, you know, get really good farm in my lane and push down it very well. So we do have a handful of people down, but I'm able to take out that tower, and I'm just going to back right here. Most of their team is in our off lane, or our, you know, they're a full team. It's off lane, safe lane, and they have 2 dead. So I'm not worried about actually, you know, anybody showing up and killing me. So I get to back and make it over to this inhib just to get Quang off. And, you know, this is really just allows me to farm a little more, which is great. I still would like to get more farm. I do have heavy hitter on, which is a substantial jump in damage, and I'm really able to, you know, really crank out some damage now. And since I've been, you know, solo most of this game, I'm level 15, so I'm fairly high in level as well. And this has just been, you know, like a great test game, you know, especially for that first game. I'm really getting to see what he can do. Now, we do end up making a prime play here, and, you know, this is great. Our Richter stayed mid, so he was a great distraction, allowing us to get that prime. And we're all kind of, you know, splitting up. I'm going to head into our off lane because this Quang has been just pushing and pushing. And not only is this lane set against us, but he's there pushing. And I would hate to lose an inhib while we have prime. It would just be terrible. Now, I'm able to make very short work. You can see here, I'm a full ADC. I've got great wave clear. I've got that multi-shot. I do have my kit to, you know, kind of change up a few things if I need to, but I do have that full kit that's very, very helpful. Now, there's a little scuffle going down mid, so I'm going to break off and head that way. Quang ends up coming into this jungle here, and you can see the misses. But I'm able to actually take him down, and we end up kind of having a little bit of a rotation. I'm going to use my shrapnel cannon to actually escape. Now, I found myself using my shrapnel cannon much more to escape than to actually do damage. You know, I guess you could use it kind of as both. You know, the thing closes in on you, you blast away, jump away from him, and, you know, keep him at arm's length while you're doing damage to him. But yeah, I definitely found myself using it to reposition myself way more than to actually use the damage on it. Which, I don't know if that's what is so much as intended, but that's definitely how I used it. And it feels like a solid thing. As you can see there, just used it again. Got away from that Murdoch. It feels solid, it feels good. I really don't know how I like a repositioning tool on a carry, but hey, it feels good for what it is right now. Now, here in mid lane, we didn't get a whole lot of progress with Prime. Unfortunately, we had a couple of people go down, and, you know, when people go down, it kind of ruins Prime. but that's okay. We get into a great team engagement here in this mid lane, and we're able to get most of their team down. We're able to push this tier 1 or this tier 2 in mid lane, take it down fairly effortlessly, and you know, we even make some progress on this mid inhib, which is great. With most of their team down, there's really not a whole lot that they can do to stop us. I do have 7,000 points I need to spend, so I really need to go back, and fortunately I realize, hey, I have 7,000 points coming up, and I'm able to spend them. But when you get into these fights like this, it's very easy to go very high up in gold and not have time to spin them. So sometimes, yeah, you might have 7,000, 8,000 points laying around just because you don't have a safe place to stop and spin those points. And with the PlayStation, it is a little bit more difficult to assign those points. And the PlayStation has been kind of funky lately, where you'll put them in and it'll click it on there, and then when you exit out of the menu, it goes away. So you have to do it twice. So it's kind of important to actually pay attention and make sure it's done. Now I'm gonna push down this safe lane. They have all spawned back in, but we've got just this massive wave, so I want to make sure that it makes it to the inhib. But 2 of their heroes show up. There's really nothing I can do. I'm gonna go ahead and lazy back right here. I've got vision on them, so I should be fine. I do have my shrapnel cannon, so we'll lazy back and pick up those in-game cards. So I'm able to get my kind of full deck. I've got Heavy Hitter, I've got the Vampiric Blade and that Guard Piercer, which I could get the Shattered Golem, but I haven't got it yet. You can see here I'm trying to catch up to this Durango, and he ends up going away. Now I turn around and use my cannon, close that distance, and I'm able to secure that kill. And I really thought, that's a great way to use that cannon, to actually close that distance, especially if he's using it to run away. And it worked out great. I think with that such short cooldown, you can use this thing so much more, and you are an ADC, so most of your damage is coming from your abilities and not, or from your basic attack and not your abilities, so you can really just save your mana for using that displacement or, relocation tool. And I can honestly say, Durango feels awesome. He's by far my favorite ADC I've ever played, and that's I don't play a whole lot of ADCs. Of course, I've been playing them more since version 42 came out, just because I do not like playing support anymore. Support just feels really bad to me. But he feels like a very solid support, and almost in the sense that he feels more solid than any other support out there. Now, I do end up dying for this inhib, so that's 2 towers I've ended up dying for in this match. I do have my lifesteal online, but, it's not going to save me from a 3-man rotation with 2 ADCs and a Chimera. But, hey, we downed an inhib, and that's 2 inhibs down, so this is going to start kind of leaning towards our favor, especially with having 2 of our tier 2 still up. Well, whenever I spawn back in, we kind of just run down this mid lane, and this is really it. We get a couple of kills, and they end up surrendering. But all in all, this was a great first match. I got to learn a lot. I was able to, pair off against another Durango, Murdoch, Wukong, and a Quang, kind of play the different roles. He is a carry. I don't see you playing him mid lane or even in that off lane. He does not have a real escape. So without having that real escape, you should have a support with you, especially with that low durability. I can kind of see Grim playing mid lane or Revenant playing mid or off lane, but yeah, Durango feels like a solid, safe lane support, and I don't know why you'd play him anywhere else. well, this match is going to wrap up. We end up, getting a couple of kills here. You see I'm able to tee off on this Murdoch, just absolutely demolish him. This Chimera jumps in. We make very short work of him. Wukong's going in on our Sparrow. We're able to clear him out. And, we take out their 4 big heavy hitters pretty quickly. And it's really just one of their heroes left. We're going to march down mid lane. We would end this, but they end up surrendering. Well, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that first look, show me some love. Leave me a comment. Think about subscribing. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.